And all right. Hey, Tony Blackmon. JJ's in the chat, so he could probably give you an update on himself. I will tell you guys real quick before we get started with anything. For those who didn't see my video earlier today, JJ has been moved to a different hospital. He had his open heart surgery, which he's recovering from, but unfortunately, they have discovered brain aneurysm. So they've moved him down to Miami to another hospital, and he's going to be undergoing brain surgery is his next thing. So was talking with him obviously earlier today, and I said, you know, when are they going to do it? And he says he wasn't sure if it was going to be today. Obviously, it doesn't look like today, since it's 8 o'clock at night now, and he's in the chat. Um, or it's going to happen tomorrow or Monday. My guess, knowing these kind of folks, they'll probably push it off till Monday. But so, yep. So for again, those of you who pray, I would ask you to please pray for JJ, and I will keep him in my thoughts, of course. And I'm going to tell JJ the same thing. I tell, well, it doesn't really super apply with this, but whenever I take care of somebody, like when I did, I did a lot of staff nursing through the years, nursing homes and stuff like that. And I would always tell the different people that were with it. You have to tell the ones that are with it. I would tell them, I said, I have only two rules when I'm working, and they would be like, "What's that?" I say, "You're not allowed to fall on my shift, and you're not allowed to die on my shift." And they would go, "Okay." And I go, "You know why that is?" And they're like, "No." And I said, "Paperwork. Can't stand paperwork." So I said, "You're not allowed to die, and you're not allowed to fall on my shift." So they always got a kick out of that. They always thought that that was funny, which I mean, in nursing humor, it is kind of funny. So, but it's not like you don't want them to fall because you're concerned. You don't want them to fall because you don't want to do the paperwork. So anyway, the paperwork did suck. I will tell you that right now. Absolutely did suck. So all right. So before we jump into anything here, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you to please, hey, Malachi's Corner, 2 years already as a hardcore member. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. Um, I can't believe it's been 2 years since we started doing that. That's crazy. So, anyway, want to remind everybody it's a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we are not going to have it. All right. So good times, good times. But yeah, let me pop this real quick. Ah, wonderful. All right. I love that freaking green tea. I actually just went and I hit Walmart yesterday, I think, and I had to reload. They didn't have very many though, so I have to go back again, and I'll have to get more. But they had like nine, so I grabbed all nine. It's cheaper at Walmart to get them than getting them anywhere else. So I used to get them. I used to get them at Walgreens. Walgreens would used to, now they don't do this special anymore, but they used to do a special where it's normally 99 cents a can, and they would do two for $1. So I would just always wait. Yep, still 99 cents, but like at Walmart, it's actually cheaper. It's actually cheaper than 99 cents. You can get it for like 88 cents a can, and it used to be 75 cents a can at Walmart. So, but but yeah, I used to get, like I said, I'd wait for the special, and it was on two for $1, and I'd go and I'd clean them out and buy everything they had. So, you know what? They don't do any advertising, and that's the beauty of. I mean, like look at the size of the can, guys. It's a 22 fluid ounce can. And green tea's good. If you like it, they got the Arnold Palmer's, and they have some other kind as well. And it just all depends on what if you like that type of stuff. But I love the green tea, and so that's why I buy it. But all right. So anyway, so Big Lots used to sell it by the case for $19 for 24. Okay. Yeah. It just really depends on where you're going. You know, you got to watch out though. Like at convenience stores, they try to make it higher, and if you report them, the convenience store report them to the company, they'll get in trouble because actually on the can itself, right? What does it say in the can itself? 99 cents. So they're not supposed to be selling it for more. So that's you know. Anyway, all right. So let's get into this. So Biden has called up 3,000 reservists, right? And he's sending them over to Europe. So what does it mean? What's going on, right? And I kind of touched on this a little bit before. If you're, you know, in the military, you're one of the generals or somebody that's in charge. Before you make any kind of move, you're putting your chess pieces in place, right? Hey, there's Miami Mac Mommy. I should say that's because that's what she is. I keep calling you Miami. I don't know. Mac Mommy's in the house. I'm sure Dave is in here too. Dave had a extended ride home when he went home. He decided to take a 2-hour detour, which I'm sure was awesome since his ride is only 12 hours to begin with. So, but I'm glad he got back home okay. Uh, Malachi's Corner said if he's calling up reserves, we're going to war. Calling up 3,000 reserves doesn't mean we're going to war, but it does mean that it's something that we need to be paying attention to. That they are, again, putting the chess pieces in place, preparing. It is. I I honestly believe now. Okay, so if we're going to do a little history lesson here, right? Just for fun, because I think it makes a difference. With everything. When you look back in history, and Hitler had gone to the Navy Department and said, "How much time do you need?" And they didn't want to go to war until like at least 1942 or 41, something like that, which would have given them more time to build up the naval aspect of what they had. Their air force was strong, their military was strong, but they were asking for more time. Well, obviously they didn't get it. 1939 they invade Poland, and that started everything. But so they went before they were ready. I honestly do not believe that China will make a move until they feel that they have superiority. Okay, honestly, that's what I mean. And like I said, it is more from being a historian, looking at the past and paying attention. Because if you don't pay attention to the past, you're doomed to repeat it. And I don't think China's going to make that. Yeah, China has no reason to rush. Exactly, Timothy. Exactly. Their navy is already bigger than our navy. That's already a fact. Okay. As we get weaker and weaker, and depending what happens with the elections, right, coming up here next year, uh, you know, they have, an opportunity to continue to get themselves more and more ready for when the time comes. Do I believe that it is an inevitability that they will invade Taiwan? I absolutely believe that it is. At some point, when they feel that they're ready, when they feel that they're strong enough. Now, right now, there's a lot of grandstanding going on, right? A ton of grandstanding. And, you know, you watch that, you pay attention to that, and, getting and it always kills me, man. I'll be honest with you. It always kills me when people are like, "Oh my God, North Korea. Oh my God, Iran." You know who's Iran is a threat to? Let's be honest. I'm going to ask first because I'm going to tell you who Iran is a threat to, and it sure ain't America. Okay, who is Iran a threat to? So that's my question for you guys, real quick. We'll see what you guys say in the comments, please. So I'll give you a We got a lot of smart people here. Israel. Iran wants to wipe out Israel. So honestly, I don't know if you guys pay attention again. If you pay attention to what happens, but there have been a lot of accidents, nuclear scientists from Iran that have died mysteriously, right? You don't think that Mossad might have had something to do with those type of things? Israel, it is in their vested interest to not allow Iran to become nuclear capable. We continue to play games and let them continue to do what they're going to do. But and again, if you guys, like I said, again, you have to pay attention to stuff. You really, really have to pay attention to stuff. Who remembers the Shah of Iran? So we're going to bounce all over the place here because a lot of it is connected and a lot of it makes sense if you're really paying attention to it. Who remembers the Shah of Iran? Right? He was our puppet, right? That's who he was. He was one of the ones. He was in charge of Iran. Iran was actually very progressive, very progressive. All this is back in the '70s, guys. All modern clothing. They wanted to be more like European and stuff like that, and in America, so they were very, very progressive. And when the hardliner Islamic regime got in there and overthrew the government and did all that, uh, you know, they went back to the crap that they're dealing with now over there, unfortunately, for those people. I've always said, and again, if you pay attention, you got to pay attention. The people themselves, all they want is to be free, to take care of their families, to live their lives, and to enjoy life. These governments are the ones that want complete control, domination, you know, obedient workers that don't complain, that don't cause problems. And so, that's what you see happening right now over there. I mean, they just went through that whole big thing. They had the morality police basically killed that girl, and they were rioting and they were going crazy over there. And you didn't see a lot about it because they were not letting a lot of it get out. But a lot of people got arrested and a lot of people were killed because that's how they maintain control. You don't think, you don't think that if things really got out of hand here in the United States, that they wouldn't lock stuff down and maybe do a thumping on a few people to get the rest of the people in line and get them back under control. You know what I mean? So that's what you have to think about. And but yeah, the Shah of Iran came to America during the Carter administration. Yep, exactly, exactly. When he escaped, he came over here. Yep, and Jimmy Carter let American hostages be held for all that time, and it was a freaking disaster and a fiasco. That whole thing was. But anyway, China's not going to make a move until they feel that they're ready. I don't believe that they think that they're ready quite yet. They still have time. We have a weak administration here. Uh, you know, a really weak administration, which we have in office for at least another year, right? So why rush? They can continue to get ready, continue to get built up, while we're more concerned about proper pronouns in the military in punishing people that don't go along with that. I mean, it's insanity to me, insanity. And so, but you have this call up of troops, excuse me, and they are putting pieces in place. The United States is. I think it would be a disaster for us. And right now, if you want to call it or not, I mean, you know what a proxy war is, right? Everybody knows what a proxy war is. Pretty much that's what's happening right now. Okay. You look, what are we doing? We are supplying Ukraine with all kinds of equipment and giving them all kinds of money and doing all kinds of things like that. And we said, oh, no, no, we're not going to give them F 16s. What are we doing? We're giving them F 16s, right? Not from us, not from us. We're training them. We're training them over Arizona, right? But the planes are coming from other, NATO countries. It's insane, guys. There's speculation that China is supplying Russia with stuff. Would it surprise me? It would not, okay? Because they have a common enemy, and that is us. Um, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Russia is not our enemy. Russia's not our enemy, guys. A weakened Russia is not good. And that's just my opinion. And, if you look at what everything has happened, NATO continues to infringe, build up around Russia, and they were getting tired of it. I mean, if you look at all the stuff that was going on, of course, according to the media, Russia's the bad guy, they're the aggressor, they're the horrible people. Now, should they have invaded Ukraine? I was actually surprised that they did. I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that they did, but they did, right? So, um, war is not always the answer, but unfortunately, sometimes when you have exhausted diplomatic channels and the other side continues to go, oh, yeah, yeah, we're not doing this. Yeah, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And they continue to do it. Sometimes that's what happens. So, and let me be really, really clear on something. I am not rah rah Russia. Okay, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not like, oh, the motherland or whatever they call it over there. I mean, you got to remember, I'm German, so the Deutschland. My ancestry, I'm German. Didn't do well with Russia, right? That didn't go well. But you know, the problem, like I said again, we're in a proxy war right now, basically, because we're supplying all this stuff to Ukraine, which they're using to kill Russians. At some point, Russia is going to say, "Hey, that's enough of that." You know what I mean? We've had enough of American, British, Germany, Australia, whoever supplying all this stuff, and they're going to be like, "Screw you guys." And if they decide to do something about it, it isn't going to go well. For everybody, because at the end of the day, in that situation, is everybody loses realistically. Okay. So we got 457 in the chat. We're at 151 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really makes a big difference with the algorithms again. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time for that. We're in a really bad situation right now in this country. And I don't know exactly what the numbers were. And I did talk about this earlier today in my earlier video. So I'm going to talk about it here again in the live stream a little bit. We had a lot of people that would not do this. And so they were discharged from the military. They are not meeting their goals for recruitment in the military. And it has a lot of reasons for that, But yeah, Trojan horses. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about our porous southern border and how there is a tremendous amount of military age young Asian men from China coming over. What's that all about? Are they just looking for work and looking to be free? Possibility, right? Possibility. But could some of them have nefarious intentions? It's a real possibility that way too. If you're bringing in, young men from Iran, Saudi Arabia, and all those type of places that have a hatred for America, and they know they can get in here, and they can, yeah, sleeper cells. Right, that's exactly right, and they're just waiting. Again, I don't know how to reiterate to you guys enough, and I know a lot of people are always concerned about an EMP. I honestly don't believe it'll be an EMP. I honestly don't. Now, it could be. That is a possibility. But with a coordinated attack, a real coordinated attack, I'm not talking about these, fly by night hits here and a fly by night hit over here. I'm talking about a coordinated attack against our power grid. They can shut us down. And it'll take a while to get things back up again. And in that meantime, a lot of chaos could be happening. You know, in the meantime, if you have a coordinated attack with organized people that know what they're doing, I mean, it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. Uh, you know, I wanted to address something, and I talked to a lot of people. All right, and I was talking to a gentleman that was involved with a 3% group. Okay, and he told me he ended up deciding to leave that group because their focus went away from preparedness and being ready and that type of stuff to saying, well, we'll stockpile guns and ammo, and when the time comes, we'll go take what we want. Okay. So he decided to leave that situation because of that. And to me, there will be groups out there, folks. That is their game plan, and it's not just 3% groups. Let me just be clear on that too. And I'm sure there's a lot of legitimately good 3% groups out there. So I don't, what the mindset is a little bit different with the 3% group is um, as opposed to a group that is being prepared and being ready. Okay, it's a big difference in the mindset. And like I said, no judgment. They could do what they want to do. But again, if your mindset is that, you're going to have problems because there's a lot of groups out there that are planning on doing that type of stuff, and they come up against somebody that really is ready for them. It's going to be difficult. And I'm going to tell you honestly, and like I said, my group, are we ready? No, we're not ready. We're not ready by a long shot. Okay. We're a lot better off than a lot of people. I will tell you that right now. But we have a long way to go to where I could actually say, I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief and say, yeah, we're good to go. We're ready for whatever may happen. That's a long way away. There's a lot of stuff going on that we need to take care of between now and whatever time that we have left. If you look at it too, and again, your mindset needs to be in the right place when it comes to preparedness and what your game plan is and stuff like that. um, it always comes down to, it always reminds me, talk is cheap. Okay, and you got a lot of these people that are out there, and they're like, oh, I'm a tough guy, blah 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 type of thing. um, Mike Tyson always, and I love his quote when he said this. He goes, everybody has a fight plan until they get punched in the mouth. And that's the reality. You could be a 3% group and think you're gung ho and we're going to go do this and we're going to go do that. And when somebody that you give a crap about right next to you, their head turns into a pink mist, that's going to give you a different perspective of stuff. And that's just a reality. Uh, I believe that those type of groups will go after soft targets. They'll look for easy pickings. I honestly believe that. I don't think they really want to go up against an organized group that knows what they're doing. And that's just my take on that. And like I said, I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to know everything. But again, preparedness is not about being a tough guy. That's not what it is about at all. What do we got? 541, 546 now in the chat. We're at 204 on the thumbs up, guys. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up, please do so to show support for the channel. I thank you ahead of time for that. Again, it makes a huge difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction, the better for the channel. Thumbs up or thumbs down. If you hate me, great. As long as you're watching, have a good time, right? Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Them troops have every right to refuse illegal orders. The problem with that, Buck, that's great in saying that. Okay, and I have to laugh. I have to laugh at that too. And I'll be honest with you. Okay, anybody's been in the military knows when you're given an order, you do it, or you're going to be in big trouble. I mean, that's the reality. That's reality. You know, your moral conscience and all that other crap. You know what? It goes out the window in that type of situation. You do what you're told. Um, you have people around you that are counting on you, that are helping you to survive. So if you are the weak link in the clog, or in the chain, you're going to be gone. Okay, and you'll be sitting in a cell someplace as a reminder for everybody else to do as you're told. So I mean, when people say that, oh well, they can refuse orders. When and I'm always a lot of times I'm going to use Germany because it's like it is so relevant when it comes to discussions of what we've talk about. And after World War II, and they had everybody up and they're charging them with war crimes and all that type of stuff, and they were like, well, why did you do that? And they go, I was following orders. And what I think a lot of people, because a lot of people obviously don't are not in combat, they're not in the military, they don't understand. When you're given an order, you do what you're told. If you go against that, what do you want to be, the next one in the cattle car on your way to Auschwitz? You know what I just so I can empathize with those people. Now, was it right? No, it wasn't right. But you do what you have to do. And if you are so delusional to think that we, the wonderful United States of America, don't do atrocities and war crimes, man, you need to wake up. You need to wake up because we do it too. There's a thing, I don't know if you guys remember this, and I'm going to give you one example, right? I'm going to give you one example. And I'm going to use a lovely term, and I love these terms, okay? Well, there's two terms that I love. One of the terms I love is cull, right? What's cull a fancy word for, right? Kill. It's a fancy word for kill. So, like if the flock is bad, and you have disease in the flock, well, we had to cull that flock. You killed the flock, is what you did, right? So that's what but that's a fancy term to sugarcoat it so it doesn't sound so bad. One of my favorite terms, collateral damage. Collateral damage. That is my favorite term in the world. Because you know what collateral damage is, folks? Yes, we killed the bad guy. We did a drone strike and we killed the bad guy, but we also killed his wife, his mother, his uncle, his aunt, 15 kids, and a whole bunch of other innocent people as well. But that's collateral damage. We got the bad guy, right? So think about that, okay? So those are things that we do. We do that, all right? And we have these lovely words and phrases that we use to sugarcoat. It's just like, well, no, we don't torture anybody, right? We don't torture anybody, but we waterboard them. You know what waterboarding is? I don't know if you've ever seen it done. You maybe you've seen it a little bit in movies. It is torture. That's what waterboarding is. You feel like you're drowning, and it's a horrible, horrible thing to do to somebody, right? It feels like you're drowning. And it's horrible. And they do it because they want to get information. They want to extract information. So there's a lot of things that go on, honestly, that people have no idea. Yeah, waterboarding is torture. Absolutely, yes, it is. Okay, but that is one of the things that we do, that we have done. Now they may say to you, yeah, we don't do it anymore. Yeah, okay. Do you believe that? I take that with a grain of salt along with everything else, okay? Because they said before, we don't do these different things. Guantanamo Bay in Cuba is a great example. We still have people in Guantanamo Bay that we are still holding. We did not let the international community come in there forever and ever in a day. And a lot of those people were being held. There's no charges against them. The United States, have determined they're not good people, so we're going to hold them. And that's what we do. And I'm going to tell you what, isolating somebody, I'm going to give another example in a second, okay? And it really should help you think about things. Detained. Yes, another lovely word, detaining. Um, who remembers when out west they took over the duck thing, the government duck blind or whatever they called it there. I can't even remember exactly what that place was. Uh, oh, what did they? It was a conservatory or something, and they took it over, and they had all these people there, and and then the United States government came in with, and surrounded everything. Uh, so you had all that happening. And so slowly but surely, people left. And they're like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing it. Right? I'm gone. Um, yeah, waterboarding is just an information request. Yeah, right. Um, but uh, but anyway, those guys had gone out. They were going to some other meeting, and then the leadership, right, was there, and they captured him. The one guy was killed. McVeigh, or not McVeigh. What was that guy's name? Man, I can't remember. But anyway, the one guy was killed, and they captured the rest of them, and they put him in a nice big hole someplace, and they let him sit there for quite a while, right? When they got out, what have you heard from them realistically since then? If you that you haven't heard nothing really. They're not causing any problems. They're just keeping a low profile. They're doing what they got to do. Here's the thing. I don't care how tough you think you are. Lavoy, thank you very much, Mars Gold. I appreciate that. Yep. Lavoy Fincham. Yep. Um, the other ones got locked up for a long time. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't care how much of a man you think you are or what you can do. If I put you in a little hole for a while, and when I say a little while, oh, a year and a half, you're going to become real compliant. You're going to become really, really agreeable. If we let you out, what are you going to do? Right? If you act like this again, what are we going to do to you next time? Right? So they eventually let those people out, but they had, they're not causing any problems anymore, or you don't hear about it anymore. And remember, they were doing the whole big thing fighting the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM, out there out west, with the grazing and everything else. A lot of stuff going on with that. So there's games that are played. There's games that are played. I love when people say, you know, oh well, I'm never going in, and I'm never doing this, and I'm never doing that, and all this type of stuff. They don't need to come out and get you. I want you to remember that. No matter how, like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, guys. Yeah, the Bundy Ranch. Yep, yep. Thank you very much, Mars. Yeah, it's like I knew what I was talking about. But I couldn't remember all the details of what it was all called and stuff. But they took over that uh, government thing way back when. I'm on Bundy. Yes, yep. That's yeah. But what do you hear from him anymore, folks? Realistically, you don't hear nothing. You hear crickets, and that's the reality. Okay. So, but anyway, um, they don't have to come out and get you. So people are like, like I said again, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I picked West Virginia for a reason. Very strategic location, all that good stuff, and why I wanted to be here. The reality is this: all they have to do for you or me or anybody else is cut us off. Cut us off. And how do you cut us off? No communications, right? You get rid of all the communications so that we would have no internet access. We wouldn't be able to talk to anybody. We wouldn't be able to get our message out to the rest of the world. So you cut off communications is number one. And you cut the power off, right? And unless you have your own independent power sources, uh, that's going to get sucked big time in a hurry. All right. Third thing, what you do, no access to gasoline. So transportation is now out the window. And if you are living off grid and you want to be off grid and you have a small farm or anything like that, right? All they got to do is make sure you can't get your diesel for your tractors. And now what are you doing? How are you growing your crops for your animals? How are you taking care of your animals? All that type of stuff. Uh, Restrict travel. So you can't go out of a certain area unless you come out and give yourself up. I mean, I always laugh when people said, oh, well, if they enacted martial law, there's no way they could control the entire country. They don't have to, folks. They don't have to. If they have cut off, oh, here's the other one. Let's keep going, right? Let's keep going. Cut off the food supply. Now you can't get any more food. So you have what you have. And if you are prepared and you're ready, you probably have a supply of food, and hopefully you're growing your own food anyway in doing those type of things. That would be ideal, right? That would be ideal. You have to really pay attention to what is done. And then the next thing they could do, somebody was talking about Waco. Here's another little thing. I don't know if you guys remember this, what they did with Waco. You put those speakers up on the outside there and you start blasting that either rock music or whatever music you want to have 24 hours a day. So unless you have ear protection, that you'll be able to sleep through that, you're not sleeping. And when you're awake, all you're hearing is that noise. It's a lot of psychological stuff that goes with that. A lot of psychological stuff that goes with that. They want you to give up. They want you to quit. Now, some people will, and some people won't. And heaven forbid, again, here's another one: somebody gets severely hurt, or there's an injury or a sickness that you know, if I leave here and I take my child, let's use the children. Let's go ahead and use that because that's another tool, right? That's a huge tool. If I take my child out of here, I know they can get the treatment that they need to survive and live. And I don't know about you. Bundy died a few years back. Oh, did he? Okay, I didn't. See, like I said, I didn't even know that. But again, you didn't hear nothing after they let him out. Once they let him out, he didn't make no more problems. Um, Kit said they can seize your land for taxes, etc. They can do that. You're right. Somebody say no. Amon Bundy is still alive. Okay, I don't know who's alive and who's not alive, but all I know is this: you don't hear anything about that person in the news anymore. You don't hear about him because he's not making any trouble anymore. He made trouble. They showed him the error of his way, if you will, and he stopped making trouble. And that's reality, folks. And they can do it to any of us. They can do it to any of us. They can discredit us. They can make false allegations and put it out there. And guess what? If you repeat a lie enough and long enough, it becomes the truth. And, um, his dad is dead. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to say he wasn't that old. I didn't think he was that old. But so there's a lot to pay attention to when it comes to history, honestly, a lot. And so for all the people that want to grandstand and say, "Well, I'll do this or I'll do that," until you're in that situation, myself included. Okay, I'm not discluding myself. Okay, until you're in that situation, you don't know what you're going to do. Um, some people are going to choose never to go in. They're not going to give up, and that's a fact. Okay, I think a lot of people would rather die free. And I think that there's a lot of people that want to do that. The son is tied up in litigation. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he's 47. Yeah, I knew. Well, there was like three brothers, wasn't there? Yeah, Lavoy Fincham is the one that they killed. Yep. Yeah, and if you look at that situation when they were traveling, like they were doing and going to this meeting and that meeting, the government said, "Oh yeah, you go ahead and do all that. You go do. We have no problem with that." That's the entire leadership of that group. Of course, you take out the head of the snake, the rest of the snake dies. That's the reality. So when they captured all of them, and can you trust the government to be a man of their word or a woman of their word? I mean, so it's just, again, you have to really, if you're committed, if you're committed to whatever cause that you're committed to, you have to realize what you're getting into. You really have to realize that. Um, you know, and the government ain't playing with you. And that's like, I'm more of I want you to leave me alone and let me do my own thing type of person. That's what I want. I don't want the government infringing on my freedom and my rights. Now they're doing it all the time, and but I mean, like, now we've gone off the rails here quite a bit, quite a bit. We need to get back on track. Uh, but again, like I said, if you pay attention to history, it definitely has a tendency to repeat itself if you don't learn from it. Malachi Square, I just want to do gardening and be left alone. I agree. I don't disagree with that at all. I just want to live my life. I want to have peace. I don't want you telling me what I can and cannot do, or trying to tell me that I have to do something that I don't want to do. Yeah, I have a problem with all of that, but it happens all the time, and it's going to continue to happen. But let's go back to the call up. 3,000 troops that they're calling up is not a large number of troops, folks. It's really not. Um, it is, again, in my opinion, yeah, I'm too old to be programmed. Exactly. Um, in my opinion, it is putting the chess pieces in place in preparation. Do I think that we'll be caught up in the war in Ukraine? Well, we already are. We already are caught up in the war in Ukraine. It all depends on what level we get caught up into. That's what it comes down to. And that's what we need to think about. That's what we really need to think about. You know, scary stuff because, we are a generation. I mean, you think about it, since I was born, the war in Vietnam ended in 75, right? I think it was 75 the war ended. So when the war ended, I was 10 years old. So, we haven't really had, we've had, of course, we had Iraq and Afghanistan and all that type of stuff. But that, and even Vietnam, did that affect things at home? It didn't. And even World War II was never fought on American soil. So again, America was insulated from the horrors and everything that happened in those wars, right? Those wars were all fought someplace else. So we are very pampered, very, very pampered. We're not prepared. We're not ready, for things to go sideways, to live without, to not have things, you know. And you look at the generation now, and I call it the entitlement generation. I really do, because they don't have a clue. They have no clue. They have, anybody 30 and under, realistically, and my daughter's under 30, obviously, my son, and they don't have a clue. They don't, my daughter has a better perspective because I raised her, and she's a good kid and she's squared away and she's a hard worker. So that makes me proud. But a lot of these kids, they want everything for nothing and don't want to have to work for a freaking thing. It's insanity. You know what I mean? Um, and look, they will have to enact a draft. Who wants to fight this war? I do believe you'll see that happen. Um, I do believe you'll see that happen. I think they will reinstate the draft, because they have to. And, unfortunately, so many of the young men and women out there right now are unfit for duty. They're not. They're not fit for duty. And the ones that are, I mean, I had somebody in the comments, on the video that I did earlier today, and they said, my nephew wants to join the Air Force, but he's afraid of bugs and bees. I mean, you don't necessarily have to like bugs and bees, but to be afraid of them, it's like that. It's frightening, the people that we have coming up here that are going to be the ones that are supposed to carry the mantle. It's frightening. And there's a lot of good ones too, folks. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great kids out there, a lot of hardworking kids. So again, I don't like to try. I don't, even though I call the under 30 generation the entitlement generation, I'm not lumping them all into one category, because that would be a discredit for the ones that have a good work ethic, that are hardworking kids, that have their head screwed on straight. But a lot of them, a lot, and I would say the majority of them, have the wrong mindset, and that's the parents' fault. That comes down to the parents. So, what are we at? 6:15 in the chat. We're at 3:08, so like half. Um, so again, if you have not shot a thumbs up for the channel, I would appreciate if you would do so, and thank you ahead of time. Again, it really makes a big, big difference with the algorithms. So the more interactions that we have on the channel, the better it is for the channel. So I do appreciate that. Also is, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Mom survival. We've given up everything: vacations, Christmas presents, a second car, so we can homestead. I'm 29. Not all is lost with my generation. And that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And I think that that's great. And I did say, and I just said, not all, but the majority. I can honestly say, in good conscience, the majority. So good for you, though, my dear. I'm glad to see that you guys are doing it. I'll tell you what, I wish I had known at a younger age, um, you know, and had been awake and said, wow, I need to do something about this, because I'd have been a whole lot farther along at this point in my life. But again, you know what? You have to have that wake up call. You have to have that wake up call. And we've all had it. And I've told you guys before, 2005 was my wake up call. And that was Hurricane Katrina. That was my wake up call. And I technically was prepping before then, because that was how I was raised, with a stocked pantry and all that type of stuff, but nowhere near like I am now. Yes, JJ, egg count time. All right, let's go ahead. We'll do the egg count. How many eggs today for the chickens? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck. So we will go from there. So, uh, time goes by fast. We get on here and the time flies for whatever reason. Give you guys another minute to get your guesses out there, and we will go from there. So, if you had the same exact guess as Comet Moon with 6 eggs and yes for Miss Thickneck, then you are 100% correct. So, congratulations to Comet Moon. You've won absolutely nothing except for bragging rights until the next live stream. Um, yeah, so Becky's back home. Becky was gone for like a week, and you know, she definitely spoils the chickens more than Heather does. Heather takes care of the chickens, don't get me wrong, but Becky does a lot more spoiling of the chickens. And eventually we'll have chickens down here, and then we'll have to do the egg count for down here. So, and we'll try to make sure that we have a couple of Easter eggers as well, so we can always do that. How many Easter eggers laid today. So, Ed Grace George was first with that answer. Wait, let me go back and look. Hold on, because I saw Compton Moon was first. Give me a second here, guys. I'm going to go back here and look and see if I am wrong. Nope. Comet Moon was right. Comet Moon was the right answer. Not by default. Comet Moon was the first one. So, anyway, so that is that. But anyhow, you know, going back to what we're talking about here with our military preparation wise, I fear for our men and women in the service right now. You know, So what now? We go into war, Ed? We're already Billy the Kid. We're already in it. We are already in it. You know what? You might not realize it yet, but with us supplying the hardware in order to kill Russians, we're already in it. Okay, and at some point, Russia's going to be like, enough is enough, and I do believe that time is coming. I really do. I believe that time is coming, and I think you're going to see like I said, a lot of it right now is what if this one does that, what if this one does that. What I believe, like I said, what I believe we're doing is we are putting the chess pieces in place for the inevitability of what's going to happen. And yeah, the military has gone woke and people are getting out. Yeah, people are sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of it. Russian subs and planes are probing the West Coast. Well, you look at all the interactions that we've had, even up in Alaska, up there, because that's as close as we are to Russia anywhere, up in Alaska. So, there's a lot of things that could happen in a bad way, really rather quickly. I think, and again, I don't believe that anybody is going to want to straight up attack America. And what do I mean by that? Boots on the ground, West Coast, East Coast, whatever the case may be. We have way too many people that are armed, that are prepared, that are ready. So they wouldn't be an enemy, would not just be fighting the military. They would be fighting every veteran that is out there. And there's a lot of us. A lot of us. We may be getting older, but you don't forget your training. You don't forget your training. We may not be as quick as we once used to be, but we know what to do and we're smarter for it. And we have, a different thought process now. And I think that makes a big difference, in that aspect. Um, they need us to destroy ourselves. And I've talked about that a lot as well. Um, my belief, again, you will see there's any number of things that could happen. You could see a financial collapse, absolutely could happen. Food shortages wouldn't shock me at all. Look what food prices have done already. Okay. Ed, being in the condition in currently, don't think I won't fight. No, I understand, brother. I hear you. I hear you. And that's everybody. I think that's everybody, regardless of what condition that they're in. But I'm crotchety and old, but old as dirt, but I still shoot straight. There you go. There you go. Um, they have to have us, like I said, destroy ourselves. So the most plausible thing, and again, and I've talked about this a lot of times, the most plausible thing is a grid down situation, not an EMP. A grid down situation, blamed on whoever, and it would never shock me if it wasn't somebody close to home that did it, honestly. But if we have a grid down situation, we will eat each other. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what would happen. We will eat each other because as soon as all those entitled, pampered, weak people don't have food, don't have water, don't have their TV, don't have their drugs, their alcohol, their phone, all those things that make up their lives, they're going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their minds. And, there's that old saying, we are 9 meals away from anarchy. 3 days of no food and water. Okay. And you watch what people will turn into. And they know that. Everybody knows that. Anybody that studied history knows that. So either they try to disarm us by our own government trying to disarm us, right? That's one option that they've been doing. They've been working on that one for a while. You know, I have yet to see a scenario where you see these mass shooters and stuff like that, and a lot of them have issues and major issues, right? It's a fact. Um, Again, my curiosity as a nurse is I wonder what kind of medication they were on, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was a correlation with certain medications and the behaviors. That would not surprise me. Now, I'm not saying that there is, and I'm not saying that there's not. Okay, so I'm gonna just be clear about that. I'm not speculating and saying, "Oh, I know it's this and this is what's going on." That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to pay attention, and I have not seen a study yet saying, "Well, these 8 shooters were all on this medication." Right? You haven't seen that, but I bet wouldn't shock me again if there was a connection. All right. Joe average law-abiding citizen that has guns out the wazoo, right? Are they going off out and shooting up anybody and hurting anybody? They're not. They're not. So why do they want to take them away? To make you weaker, to make our country weaker, you know? And that's the only thing that I can think of. Why would you not want a strong country? You know? How about we start treating, I know this is a shock and putting this out here. How about we start treating mental illness? Ed, did you see Tennessee proposed a Second Amendment, a proposed bill on the Second Amendment and medications? I did not see that. No, nope, I did not see that. But uh, but anyway, how about we treat mental illness? How about the fact that we've opened up the doors to our mental institutions and put all these people out on the streets? Anybody thinking about that? Where are all those people now? What are they doing? Where are they at? What's going on with them? Right? They were locked up in mental institutions for a reason, but they let them out. I know in New York, I mean, I up in Rochester, they closed down so many of the places, uh, you know, where people were at. Okay, why? Where are they at? And again, I'm going to go back, guys, and I'll tell you a quick story. I was living on Park Avenue in Rochester. Nice section of the city. Really kind of artsy fartsy type of thing. I don't know how I ended up over there, but I did. I had a studio apartment on the third floor, and it was 4 or 5 story building. So I move in, and I move into this apartment. Now, outside my window, there was 2 bars down on the ground floor, and I really quickly learned that's when I started sleeping with a fan. And to this day, I still sleep with a fan because it kills all the white noise, kills all the other noise, and it really makes a big difference. So I would definitely recommend a fan for most people to sleep with. But anyway, so my first night there, I hear this lady's flipping out, right? And I'm going, wow, man, somebody's having a big old fight down here somewhere, right? And it was on the floor below me, on the second floor. So like a couple days later, I was coming up and I was had groceries and I'm coming up the stairs, and this woman in disheveled clothes and layered clothes, right, comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, they're after me. And I'm like, who? Who's after you? She goes back and she takes me back to the back where you can see the back parking lot. And she goes, they're out there and they're watching. Well, I quickly discovered, right, really quickly put 2 and 2 together and said, all the elevators are not going to the top with this woman. All right. She was one of those people that they let out of a psychiatric hospital and put her back on the street, put her in an apartment amongst, technically, if you want to call it normal, I don't think anybody's normal, normal people. And we had to deal with that. And, it was craziness. And I could tell you more stories about that at another time, but it was, uh, it was not fun. It was not fun. But so you have a lot of mentally disturbed people that are out there in the public. Gives them an opportunity to do things, you know, realistically. And so that those are things again. If we started treating our mentally ill people and really treating, not just pacifying it and just drugging them up, getting to the core root of the problems, even like with the drug addiction. Drugs are a mask. Alcohol is a mask that is used to hide trauma that they don't want to deal with. That's the reality. Now, granted, are there some people out there that just like to get high? Yeah, sure there are. Okay, but a majority of the people with alcohol problems, with drug problems, it's because of something that has happened, generally in their childhood, a trauma of some sort that they can't get past. And so they mask it and they bury it with drugs and alcohol. So what you've done is you've now brought a whole new set of problems in. So you're still not dealing with the trauma. And now you have other problems that you're dealing with too, which affects everybody around you. And that's a sad thing. It really, really is. If we treat the underlying issue, that's what we need to do. And that's just me having worked psych, have been in the nursing field for a long time and seen a lot of things. I think we have too many people in charge that don't have a real grip on reality. You know, they might be book smart, but they're not street smart. They haven't been in the trenches. They don't know. It always amazed me when you would get these folks, calling the shots, and they have no concept and no clue of what's really going on out there in the real world. Very, very scary, to be honest with you. Very, very scary. But all right, it is that time. So we have 522 now in the chat. We're 380 on the thumbs up. We got 20 minutes left. Let's shoot for a goal of, let's go with 450. It's a lot. 70 more thumbs up, guys. So let's see if we can hit 450 thumbs up. We got 20 minutes to do so. I think you guys can do it. A lot of people still in the chat. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so. Let's blow through that number. Let's blow through 450, see how high up we can go. But we'll shoot for 450 first. So again, really does make a big, big difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason. Also, it makes a big difference. Overall, I appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. It's already at 4:04, so we're down to 46 to go. I know you guys can do that. That's easy. You guys are jamming it out. All right. Shout out time. We're going to start out with Icky Can up in Canada. And before I start, let me get another drink. So we got Icky Can up in Canada, real good guy. I would ask you to go and please support him. There's Angry Prepper, that is Jason down in New York City. Real good guy, very, very scored away. Somebody you definitely should be listening to. You have Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy, another real good guy. There is Alaska Granny. I'm petting my dog. If you see my arm moving, because she's sitting right here and I'm petting her right now. There is Alaska Granny as well. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and myself, Reliance. Two different channels, same guy, up in Alaska. Up in Canada. Living off grid, building, gardening, all that type of stuff. Really, really interesting to watch, and great builder too, by the way. There is Demcad, another really good guy. You have Corporal's Corner. There is Bjorn Hansen. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. There is Bizariza Jizza, who does the my brain's not working. The Carrington Chronicles. Real good series, very interesting to listen to what he has to say. Good information in his videos as well with that story. Let's see, where was I? All right, we have Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast. Really good guys. Definitely go check them out. Adam's a really good guy. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wrangle Star, and that's Cody. Great channel, a lot of good information on his channel as well. So definitely check him out. You have Red Poppy Ranch. There is Survival Lily over in Europe. You have Kyle's Cabin, and that's Kyle and Sierra living up in Minnesota doing their thing up there. And really fun to watch them as well. There is Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Husband-wife team doing their thing. They're splitting their time between Michigan and Alaska. There is Green Greg's. A lot of good information with Green Greg's as well. And he's got a lot of great gardening information on his channel as well. Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. He's been around a long time. Good channel, good information over there. Gray Man Prepping. You have St. Bernard Acres with Joe. There is Doug and Stacy. Doug and Stacy, again, have been around for a long time. Really good channel. Definitely check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. Really nice couple down there living off grid, doing their thing down in Panama. There is the Green Dream Project. They are out in Arizona living, showing people how to live in Arizona. Really interesting information with their channel as well. There's Camping with Steve Wallace. Real laid back guy, very down to earth. Definitely check him out, support him. He does stealth camping. Bush Doctor Survival. There is Monkey Works. You have the Needy Homesteader. She's been around a long time, real good channel. Boss of the Swamp. Again, really good builder, a lot of good information with his channel. You have Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is an extremely intelligent gentleman. Going to give you all the information about the Grand Solar Minimum, what's going on with that. Definitely give him a listen to. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead, another person who says it like it is. I have a lot of respect for people that say it like it is. I like that. So I think that's a good thing. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. There is Suspicious Observer, giving you all the information, what's going on with solar flares and the sun and everything else. Real good channel. There's Bear Independent. You have the Uneducated Economist. There is Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. There is Mary Greeley News. Mary Greeley gives you all the latest updates of what's going on with Yellowstone, the earthquakes, and all that type of stuff. Really good information on her channel. She seems to be more in the know than the ones that are actually monitoring Yellowstone. So I think that that's interesting. There is Adapt 2030. We have Malachi's Corner. You have Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's one guy you should be getting your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall is very, very passionate about the weather. He's a great guy, and he gives back to the community in a huge way, and I think that that's awesome. There is Russell Brand. Russell Brand gives you the information. He lets you decide what you want to do with it. I like that. That's what I want. I want you to give me the information, let me do my own research, and let me make my own decision. There's Deep South Homestead, another fantastic channel with a lot of good information on their channel. You have The Outsider. There is The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. Townsend's shows you how to live like you're in the 1800s. I think that's important to pay attention to that and get that information. You have the Prepared Mind, formerly of California. There is Pinball Preparedness down in Tennessee. There is East Tennessee Preparedness. You have the Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Griddy. Another good channel there also in Tennessee. A lot of good information out there. I know you guys have put other channels that you like in the chat, which is just fine. A lot of good information. We should definitely be looking at diverse opinions. Nobody looks at things the same way, and I think that that's good. I think that's a healthy thing. And so anyway, what are we at? 429. So we need another 21 thumbs up, guys. Another 21 thumbs up. So just to hit 450, and then we'll see how far you guys can get past 450 once we hit that. So now we're at 430, so 20 more. But anyway, we should be supporting each other. The prepping community is not that big of a community, and that's why I like to do the shout outs. I think it's important that we look at diverse information. So that's why I do what I do. So anyway. All right, now we're at what, 439, so we need 11 more. Billy the Kid Norwood, World War III, yes or no? I would say, Billy the Kid Norwood, we are already in the early phases of World War III. We're in the early phases of it. I believe that it is a matter of time before China moves on Taiwan. That will accelerate things, that will keep things going. It's a matter of time before there is some kind of conflict with Russia, where we're more actively involved. We're already involved, so don't kid yourself that we're not involved. We're very, very actively involved right now. In a lot of other countries, NATO obviously is very involved in that situation. So I believe it is just a matter of time, before there is some kind of confrontation, be it in the air, be it on the ground, or be it at sea, where cooler heads don't prevail and something stupid happens. And that could absolutely get us into something much, much worse. So I'm always going to encourage you guys to continue to prep, continue to get ready, because we don't know how much time we got. There's no no clock that we can look at the wall and go, okay, we got another couple of months here to do what we need to do. Because if you did, and here's the sad thing, if you knew you had a couple of months, the majority of people, not all, again, the majority of people would wait to the last minute. They do it with hurricanes down in Florida, right? They wait to the very last minute, and then they go, "Oh my God, now we got to do something." You know, they never are proactive. I think it's very, very important that we be proactive, that we work on things, that we prepare to be when that other shoe drops. And I'm going to reiterate something, and I've said this a million and one times, and I'll probably say it a million and one more. When SHTF happens, when it happens, you are going to have what you have. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll run to the store one more time. You and every other panicked individual out there, that is the last place you want to be, is any store, any pharmacy, any of those places. It will be chaos, complete and utter chaos, and it will be very, very dangerous. If you come out of the store and you got your cart and you got all kinds of stuff that you just bought, and there's a guy in the parking lot that don't have the money to go in there and get it, and he's got a gun and he says to you, "Give me your stuff," I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be in that situation. I want to be, when it happens, I want to be sitting right here going, okay, I'm as ready as I can be. I've done everything in my power to put myself in a position to be able to handle whatever's going to happen and then ride it out as long as I can. You know what I mean? So that is what I think is important. So when that time comes, it's not the time to go out to the store at that point in time. Now, if you live in a small town and people are reasonable and they're decent, you might have an opportunity to get out and get that last run. Okay, you might be able to, but the reality is you might not, and you need to think about that, and you need to be ready to deal with that type of situation. So we're at 448. We need two more to get to our 450 goal, and then we got to see how much higher up you guys decide to make it happen. Still 400 people in the chat. All right, guys, we are Legion. We are many. We're all over the world. We're all over the country. Where is everybody at tonight? Hey, Pete, have a good night. Thank you very much for stopping in. Appreciate it. Where's everybody from tonight? We got Rhonda in Dayton, Ohio, Cape Cod, Mass, Northern Virginia with Robert, Inverness, Florida with Clyde in the house, Austin, Texas with Billy the Kid, Fort Worth, Texas with Sonia, Melbourne, Australia with Philip in the house, the UP of Michigan with Dawn, BC, Canada with Janet. We have Granbury, Texas, Northwest Pennsylvania, Missouri and the Ozarks with Delbert, Leesburg, Florida with Joan, Freddie in Virginia, West Virginia with Brian, West Coast of Florida with Kit, Adams, Kentucky. We have East Central Illinois, Greenlee County, Arizona, Vancouver Island, Canada with Prep Rebel. Michigan is in the house with Bubba One. Palatico, Idaho with Janita. We got John coming from Montana. Morristown, Tennessee with Patty. Dallas, Texas. We have another West Virginia with Jeannie. Elmont, Tennessee. West Virginia again with Morning Light. Central New York with Village Homestead. Kearney, Nebraska with DJ. Kansas City, Missouri. Mitten Keys, England. Very nice. Linda, thank you for staying up with us late. I know it's late over there, so thank you for staying up. Campbell, Missouri with Antonio. Michigan, Deerwoods with Raphael. Northern Illinois with Angela. Larry in Omaha, Nebraska. Charlotte County, Florida with Gloria. California's in the house with Baby. We have Arizona's in the house with Mar. West Central Ohio with Dale. Belgium is in the house. Wow, thank you very much for being here and appreciate you staying up. Waterloo, New York is in the house with Sharon. Norfolk, Nebraska with Jesse. My grandfather's name was Jesse. Southern Tier of New York with Fred. Ludenbach, Texas. Oregon on the coast with Sassy. Trenton, Gainesville, Florida. So again, guys, we are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We're the ones that are awake. We're the ones that can make a difference. We can make a difference now, and we can make a difference in a post event as well. We just have to focus on taking care of what we need to take care of. Try to wake people up as we can. You're not waking everybody up. We got Dave in Southern California's in the house. Do the best you can, because afterwards we're going to be teachers. That's who we're going to be. So it's Sonia's birthday, so happy birthday to Sonia today. So so 469. I knew you guys would blow through 450. I should have made it higher. Let's see how much higher. Let's see how close. We're almost done though here. Let's see how close to 500 we can get. That would be another 31 thumbs up. So I know I'm asking a lot there, but let's see how close to 500 we can get. Now we're at 471, so we need 29 more to hit 400. So, but like I said again, you know, we are the ones that can truly make a difference when the time comes, because there's going to be a lot of lost souls, my friends, a lot of lost souls. Again, when you think about it, you look at the numbers, 95%, that's a huge percentage of people are not prepared for a 2-week disaster. And then you think about all the people out there that have zero skills at all, can't make a fire, don't know what to do, don't know how to build a temporary shelter, don't know that they have to get up off the ground so that the ground doesn't suck the heat out of them, out of their body. I mean, it's scary. It's really, really scary if you think about it. So we're at 480. 20 more, guys. Can we get 20 more thumbs up before we jump off of here? I want to thank my moderators once again, guys, for everything. What do you think about the article I sent you about the placebo stuff? Very interesting, Prep Rebel. Very, very interesting. Thank you. I appreciate you sending that too. Again, I want to thank my moderators who rock, especially JJ, who is in a hospital bed getting ready to have brain surgery for an aneurysm. And he's still here moderating the channel. So thank you, JJ. Thank you for the rest of my moderators, ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me. So just so you guys know, anybody that doesn't know, JJ had a heart attack, had open heart surgery. That happened. He had surgery on Monday. And now he has an aneurysm in his brain, and he's going to have surgery on that. They've moved him to a separate hospital, down in Miami to do that surgery. So let's keep JJ in our thoughts and prayers, and I appreciate you guys for that. And but that's not fun stuff. I want to thank all you guys for being here, supporting the channel as well. It really does mean a lot to me. It is a lot of fun. I do enjoy doing this. I've been obviously doing it for a long time, so it's a lot of fun. So we have 491. We need 9 more thumbs up, guys. 9 more. I know you guys can do it. Let's hit 500 before we jump off of here. I want you all to remember, we truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that one out, we truly will be in much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. We have to come together as human beings. When you talk about other countries, you have to realize there's people just like us in those other countries that all they want is to live their life, love the ones that they love, take care of the people that they care about, and just do what they need to do. And that's when you put it in that perspective, it makes it more realistic. But we got to come together. We really, really do. So also remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. It is so, so important. We got to tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD. Best acronym in the world, right? STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. If you use that mindset, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, they're going to happen. And the only person stopping you from achieving your goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right. I see we blew through 500, so we're at 502. You guys are awesome. I didn't think we would hit 450. So here we are at 502. So that's awesome. Guys, be safe. Have a great weekend. continue to prep, continue to get ready, take care of the things that are important, be as ready as you can be, because when that other shoe drops, it's going to be a shock to all of us. It really will be. So just take care of the things that are important. All right. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.